At Christmas, my parents told my 6-year-old daughter there was no room for her at the table. They sent her driving home alone to an empty house on Christmas Eve. I didn't yell or cause a scene. I took action instead. The next morning after Christmas, they found a letter at their door and started screaming. I got home around midnight after a brutal double shift in the ER. I'd done compressions on a guy who swore he was just tired until he turned blue. I walked in dead on my feet and saw Abby's boots by the door. Her coat slumped on the armrest. Her overnight bag still zipped. She was curled up tight on the couch like she didn't trust the furniture. "Abby?" I said softly. Her eyes snapped open. She sat up slow. "They said there wasn't room." "Room where?" "At the table." Her voice cracked. Grandma looked surprised when I showed up on time. Said they weren't expecting me. Too many people. Couldn't pull up another chair. No bed left either. So I left. I kept wondering how they could look her straight in the eyes and decide she didn't belong. "Did they let you eat?" She shrugged. Table was packed. My cousin took my seat. No one looked at me. Grandma said it was a full house. I made toast when I got home. One cold slice on a paper towel. Half a banana next to it. That was her Christmas dinner. Looking back, that single slice hit harder than any fight ever could. She'd baked cookies herself. Wore the sweater they always complimented. They turned her away like extra weight. I pulled her close. She leaned in fast, fighting tears. "I know they don't like you, Mom, but I thought I was just the kid." They hadn't run out of chairs. They'd run out of gratitude, and they'd used my daughter to send the message. The next morning, my husband got home. I told him everything. He stood quiet. "So what do we do now?" I already knew. I'd bankrolled my parents for years. Bought their house, paid mortgage, utilities, medical bills. They resented me since I was a kid for being the weird smart one who became a doctor. My sister was the golden child. When she asked me to pay for my niece's $1,200 camp weeks earlier, I said no. I was already carrying them. They didn't like it. This was the last straw. 2 weeks later, we drove over with the letter. My husband waited in the car, hand on my knee. I held the envelope tight. Extra cars still in the driveway. I rang the bell. No answer. Knocked again. Nothing. "Let's just leave it," he said gently. We walked back. I tucked the envelope against the doorframe. I was opening the car door when the screen creaked. My mom stepped out in her fuzzy holiday robe. She bent down slow, picked up the envelope, tore it open. Her face went blank, then white. "Frank!" she screamed, voice cracking. "Frank, get out here! She's throwing us out!" My dad rushed out in yesterday's clothes. "What the hell?" My sister appeared behind him in Christmas pajamas, mug in hand. Mom pointed at me down the driveway like I was trash. "You ungrateful little..." We got in the car and pulled away before she finished. My phone exploded before we reached the street. "How dare you!" my mom shrieked when I picked up. "No, hello, no question about Abby. Just rage." My dad yelled I was no daughter of theirs. They never mentioned what they did to my girl. A few days later, my mom showed up at my door with the crumpled letter. "After everything we've done for you," she hissed. I let it hang. "You mean the house I bought? The bills I paid 7 years?" She flinched, then ripped the letter in half right in front of me. "Pay for your niece's camp and we'll forgive you," she said, smiling like she'd fixed it. That's when I realized they'd never taken me seriously. Not as the kid who studied too much, not as the doctor, not now. To them, I was still supposed to stay grateful and quiet. I closed the door calm, then I called my lawyer the next morning. The formal eviction notice went out. 60 days, legal and stamped. This time they couldn't tear it up. I cut every other support. Listed the house. It sold fast. My sister took them in at first, playing hero, but she kicked them out weeks later. They ended up in a cheap 2-room rental with 1 heater and slanted steps. I quietly sent copies of every bill I'd paid to the family. No one rushed to save them. 2 years later, Abby and I sat on the porch sipping iced tea. My phone buzzed with an unknown number. I deleted the message. "I don't miss them," she said. Neither did I. They said there was no room for her at their table. Now there's no room for that cruelty in our lives. I chose her, and it was just far enough.